I'm not gonna say that. A lot of people call him dumb and stupid, and you can't argue with somebody if they call him stupid. You hear me? But for him, Memphis rapper robbed his CEO in front of two officers and an informant. See, I just seen they said Gucci told, and I just was like, damn, like I ain't know it was a officer there. I ain't know it was two undercovers and an informant. So that mean one of the niggas that was with Pooh Shiesty probably snitched too. That mean one of them was it's like on some snitching shit. Let's see what the other. I rock with Chick Smooth. You feel me? But I rock with Chick Smooth for like the music content and all that. I react to his stuff, but the family, I go to him because the family, he ain't gonna give you no what he say? He gonna tell you in a minute. The family give you red. He give you the red. He do his homework for real. Like he do his homework. I rock with the family TV.
Everybody wins when the family feels.
Turn up, snap.
Life like a move, huh?
I ain't need no angle. I'm just give you the story. That's what he said. I ain't give you the angle. I'm just give you the story. Say some shit like that.
Flipping through child in 17 months, I done turned to a rapper.
Come on, bro, you gotta get in with me, man.
Music.
On Wednesday, FBI agents raided Williams Cordova's home. His father, of the same name, is also a suspect. Investigators tracked the group using cell data, surveillance, rental records, and bus tickets. 8 of the 9 suspects have now been arrested in a case that has racked up
situation. I don't like it for either side. You know what I'm talking about? Goo most definitely.
I don't like that people acting like, alright, so look, bro. I don't like that people like, I don't like this to go up, like now, like, I'm telling you, like, with this snitching shit and all that, it's like, people is like, it's like selective nowadays. It's like selective, so much selective shit with this shit, like, bro, he snitched. Next to all, he's a CEO now, and I heard somebody say some shit like that, I'm like, bro, this nigga just told, he was just on the verses with Jeezy, told this nigga, yeah, smoking Pookie Loke, nigga, doing all this, like, just had a video in the pool, laying on the shit, talking about keep it in the streets. Like, I don't, man, even if the other niggas told, even if the officers and the informant told, Gucci didn't have to say nothing. I seen something where they said Gucci identified niggas and shit like that. That's telling. We're not going around this sugarcoat. Niggas like to sugarcoat and yeah, this is this fat, yeah, this CO right here talking about it's a misunderstanding. Guard! Guard! Well, I asked you. Spin off.
Didn't deserve that, and I don't want to see this for the little homie Pooh Shiesty, but
you know why I don't like? Because he a scumbag. He got the dream chaser. What that dream chaser? What he got? The MMG shit. He's a fucking dirtbag too, probably. Niggas gonna up it on you too, nigga.
this is what niggas gotta be educated and understand. In business, you gotta negotiate, my nigga. You gotta negotiate. If you was signed for 100K and now you got 10 M's on the table, it's time to negotiate. This how we do this. Boom, 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 boom. Everybody win. Let's go. That's how I gotta go, my nigga.
Now, do I think we gonna find out? The family gonna let us know why. You know, he know. He gonna know. He gonna give us some information that I don't know yet. But it is messed up that I mean, his deal must have been so bad for him to feel like he had to go to that extent. But then again, you doing this and you doing it to a nigga like Gucci, man, you not thinking Gucci gonna snitch. So people saying he's stupid. I mean, he is stupid, but this is what street. This ain't the streets though. So this is where niggas is fucking up at. But Gucci is a street nigga, a street legend. Niggas in the streets looked up to Gucci. I've seen plenty of niggas heartbroken about this shit. So like niggas thinking Gucci gonna keep it in the streets. Niggas ain't. Well, I guess I don't know how Pooh ain't know. This nigga got a fucking off-duty cops and shit. Like, once you would have seen, like, I don't know. I guess it's awesome. Yeah, niggas ain't think Gucci gonna tell. That's all.
You can't muscle your way out of no shit and no business. It don't go that way. And I ain't just talking about on the people's side, but on the other side, the blitz gonna come. You can't run from it, homie.
I hate when niggas, this is when you know niggas be full of shit. I hate when niggas talking to the camera, they don't even want to put their whole face in this shit. They be like, yeah, like, you know, like, it's business, you gotta negotiate. Business. Get in the camera, man.
That's the way it goes. Negotiate.
Okay,
it's time to educate. I want to see young hustlers from the South win. I want to see it. That was the time I got Gotti and Guwap on the phone together. Us three on the phone, nigga. And it ain't nothing to discuss. It was no disrespect. It was no raised voices. Rose just wanted to plant that seed. And I understand one phone call may not fix all the situations, but you want to plant that seed where niggas may be able to move forward one day, get some paper one day. The CMG 1017 tour one day, that was Rose mindset. And I wish nothing but my homies the best. When it come to business, let's negotiate. Niggas can't take the streets to the do. Nigga gonna get a life sentence with that shit, bullshit, nigga.
It's crazy. Cause what if I told you one of the biggest rappers to ever come out of Memphis had everything most artists dreamed of, millions of dollars, a major cosign from Gucci, and a CEO standing behind him who helped him turn himself into a millionaire.
Come on, bro, you gotta get in with me, man.
Damn.
Also, look at your rim. Look at your rim.
Get your phone up.
Put my phone on there. Give me slime. Get my other phone here. Here, get my other phone, man.
Damn, yo.
Hey, we do here, bro. Give me light, man. No. Slime over here for my guy, man.
Damn.
But instead of protecting,
Damn, the niggas, yeah, damn, nigga did Gucci slob. He did Gucci slob.
an opportunity prosecution,
Damn.
the situation will spiral into allegations of a robbery, a forced contract, and eventually a federal case. And over the last couple of days, new developments and paperwork connected to the situation has started resurfacing, including documents tied to Pooh Shiesty's father, paperwork that was originally supposed to be sealed, but eventually became public, that the family TV was able to get, which we'll later break down. And once you start reading through that, a lot of people begin asking a serious question. Was this really a robbery, like the internet has been saying? Or was this a contract dispute that escalated into something much bigger? Because when you actually look at the details, the jury people claim Gucci Mane was robbed for doesn't appear to match anything present in evidence. And even more interesting, the night didn't just involve rappers. According to reports inside that glass studio office where everything allegedly went down, there were 2 off-duty officers and an informant present that most people don't know about, meaning
somebody in Pooh crew telling. I said that though. Once I said it was 9 niggas, you know somebody telling. That's too much co-defendants, bro. That's too much co-defendants. And in 2026, if you're Pooh Shiesty's co-defendant, and you tell, you will be famous. You could come home, do interviews, get lit. This shit's so fucked up out here, nigga. Like, this shit's twisted. Yeah, shit is over.
Some would argue 3 connected to law enforcement inside that room where this situation unfolded, not to mention on camera. So now the story people thought they understood suddenly looks a lot different. Fam, listen, you know a couple days ago we did a story talking about Pooh Shiesty's father and his documented criminal history. We didn't speak on the citizen because that information was blocked from public view. But what the family TV was able to obtain was the plea agreement tied to their case. Paperwork that, according to records, was supposed to remain sealed. And once that information started circulating again, people began looking at the bigger picture. Because when you line the history up with the situation involving Gucci Mane, a lot of questions start coming up. For the last couple of days, the internet narrative has been simple. People saying Gucci Mane has been robbed. They saying chains were taken, rings were taken, watches were taken, and most of all, he told. But when you actually go through the paperwork and the evidence that's been presented publicly, that claim started getting shaky because the jury shown doesn't appear to be Gucci Mane's jury at all. Instead, what prosecutors describe much more clearly is a contract dispute that escalated. A situation.
Right, nigga, that 1017 chain could be Shiesty chain, nigga. He 1017. The lawyer got some arguments on this.
Where multiple individuals allegedly traveled from Memphis to Texas over business. And that federal complaint shows just that. During that situation, prosecutors say a contract ended up being forced to be signed. Now think about that for a second. Nowhere in this complaint it said Gucci Mane or RD said his blank 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 was taken. But think about this. If you're the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company and someone forces you to sign a contract under pressure, legally speaking, that contract doesn't hold up, which raises a bigger question. If you were Gucci Mane in that situation, what would you do? But before we go over this one, I want you guys to remember, I don't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We'll jump right to it.
That ain't a lot of people come to me with that in my whole life since I was a little boy. You know what I'm saying? Even when I forget a lot of them, sometimes say, I have never snitched on nobody, I never wrote a statement on one, and I never will. That's how I feel. Cause I'm a true G. I never snitch on a nigga. Where we from, we don't do that. For real, this used to allow us all sit.
That's the old Gucci. They said this nigga's a clone. They said the clone told. They said clone Gucci told. This Gucci would have went out shooting, nigga. Clone Gucci told. We gotta find out they saying Gucci ain't tell. It's crazy.
Well, niggas I fuck with my crew, we don't do that. We don't snitch on niggas. We stand down for ourselves. Like, if I gotta go, I'm gonna go. I done went before. I don't want to snitch on a nigga to save my nobody's life. Not even my own. I die.
I die.
That's on my mom.
Fam, that was early 2000s Gucci Mane. A man who been through many scenarios to tell, but he didn't. A man who now, 20 years later after that interview alone, still got 1017 to be relevant. Now full-time CEO who rap occasionally. Fast forward to 2026, and a contract dispute with one of the biggest artists in the world, who some say went about things that's similar to Suge Knight and Eazy-E. Now before we go over that federal complaint in its entirety together, I want us to go back some years prior during the pandemic, towards the end. In 2020, when Gucci Mane had signed Pooh Shiesty, another well-known artist he had signed was Fujiano and Big Scar. Together they dropped music under the new 1017 and gained millions of views each track.
Like no. I can't cry me a bag. Took a trip to walk and look like I fell in some glass. Bang, J's up on.
Looking back, you ask, what if? Pooh Shiesty, Fujiano, and Big Scar, all three were stars. But unfortunately, when Pooh Shiesty got arrested in 2021, Big Scar, real name Alexander Woods, unfortunately lost his life on December 22nd, 2022, at just 22 years old from an accidental prescription drug overdose at his girlfriend's house. His family reported the overdose involved prescription pills, and the Memphis Police Department confirmed there were no signs of foul play. May he rest in peace. A love of condolences to his family. But after that situation, things didn't really turn out how the family had expected, because it seemed Gucci Mane and his team had some type of fallout with Big Scar's family. It was alleged that Gucci Mane wanted Big Scar's chains back and only gave $10,000 for the funeral. I let you decide if that was enough or not. But listen to Big Scar's sister voice her.
I mean, shit. 10,000 for the funeral, not bad. But him wanting the chains back was type crazy. Him wanting the change back type crazy, I ain't gonna lie.
For the funeral. I let you decide if that was enough or not. But listen to Big Scar's sister voice her opinion on the situation. And I bring this up because some say this may have led to why Pooh Shiesty wanted to stir away from Gucci Mane. Not saying it's true, but it is a fact that these things happen. Mind you, Big Scar's Pooh Shiesty blood's cousin.
Oh, word?
That 10K went to a flowers. Flowers high as fuck. We still got a casket. He getting cremated. He getting put up in a museum. Bitches. The bitches would not be able to walk on my brother's grave. He ain't getting put in no ground. He ain't getting buried with no chains. He not getting them chains back. Period. At the end of the day. Fuck them receipts that Annabelle uploaded. Fuck Annabelle. And them receipts. Like I said, we only received 10,000. What the other 10 is, I don't know. But yeah. Yeah. I'm at work.
I mean, if y'all only doing 10,000, way more than enough if you fucking cremating somebody. Yeah, now even hearing that is like, come on. Cremation don't cost 5,000. So you give me 10 there, you got some shit to do, a little ceremony. Yeah, that's more 10K enough. Motherfucker being greedy.
With my feet up, making boxes. If 10K ain't did shit but buy obituaries and flowers, boo. This shit ain't here with no obituaries and flowers, boo. 10K ain't shit. My brother was way more worth, baby, my brother worth more than 10K. You bitches can.
I'm not saying he not worth more than 10K, but 10K for a funeral is a reasonable amount. I mean, he type celebrity, but he wasn't, I mean, I don't want to say he wasn't big, because he probably was big as hell. No Diddy, he probably was like huge in Memphis. But I feel like 10K to give somebody that's getting cremated is like, that's valid. I feel like that's valid. Maybe you could, whatever they ask for, you could give it to them though. It is your artist. You made more than 10K off the nigga. For sure.
Quit playing with me. Quit playing with me. Yeah, Gucci son 10,000, and it was somebody else on another 10. So it was 20,000 in all.
20 is good.
The situation that happened is when Pooh Shiesty was free. A comment Gucci had wrote in response to Big 30, 375-1017. Gucci Man responds, Cap, stop posting me, dude. We met once. Either way, they made up. Gucci Man and Big 30 had their music together after that.
Like TLC, 223 shells out the Jeep. No one gon' take care of me the way that I take care of me.
That's why some say the Big Scar situation is more believable, because prior to the robbery in January, Pooh Shiesty was posting a lot of Big Scar in his story, reminiscing. Some say now, looking back, may have been sending clues. Now another person people are pointing out before we get into this federal complaint once again is Pooh Shiesty's dad, Lontrell Williams Sr. Now we're not going to go over the situation that happened in 2004 with the DJ, because we talked about it in the first video. I'll leave the link in the bio, like I said once again. But we are going to go over his plea agreement in that case, and why he only served 2 days for that case, which was for a murder and an R, according to what prosecutors say, fueled by his animosity towards the DJ for not playing his music, instead playing Yo Gotti's music, allegedly. Now during this time, Pooh Shiesty's dad did get arrested, but because his homie went to trial and he wasn't placed there, they couldn't charge him with the murder. They did charge him with the drugs that were seized at the time of his arrest. And during that time, even though it wasn't murder, he still agreed to be an informant for the feds. Now fam, before we move forward with the rest of this story, we gotta slow down and really break down something.
The informant in the room is Pooh Shiesty's pops. I'm done. I'm fucking done. Yo, what?
That most people skim over when they look at federal paperwork. Because buried inside a plea agreement is something that changes the entire conversation, and that's a potential 5K1, one motion. Now if you ever dealt with the federal system, a 5K1 might just look like another number in a document, but in federal world, that number means everything.
For that.
Let me break it down. First off, the defendant
5K1 on your paperwork, you land in a federal jail, you are getting stabbed.
In this case, Lontrell Williams Sr. agreed to plead guilty to multiple counts involving federal drug conspiracy laws. Those are serious charges that typically carry heavy federal prison sentences. We're talking about charges that can easily land 10, 20 years, sometimes even life, depending on the circumstances. But right after the plea selection, the agreement introduced something very important. It says the government may recommend a reduction in his sentence under United States Sentencing Guidelines 5K1. What does that mean? In simple terms, a 5K1 is a cooperation deal. It means that the defendant has agreed to provide substantial assistance to the federal government, and that assistance usually involves helping prosecutors build a case against other individuals. Now, that help can come from several forms. Sometimes it means providing detailed information about drug operations, suppliers, or co-conspirators. Sometimes it means helping investigators understand how a criminal organization operates, who is involved, where the
Pooh Shiesty rat ass daddy.
The drugs are coming from and where the money is going. Other times it means actually testifying in court or in front of a grand jury against other people involved in the conspiracy. And in some situations, even help investigators make recorded calls identifying other suspects or confirming evidence investigators already have. But here's the key part most people miss. The plea agreement makes it clear that none of this guarantees a sentence reduction. The document literally says the decision is solely within the discretion of the government. In other words, prosecutors are the ones who decide whether the cooperation was valuable enough to be rewarded. And if they believe the defendant provided real help that actually led something that leads to investigations or prosecutions, then they can file a motion asking the judge to reduce the sentence. That's what a 5K1 is. And looking back, he got 4 years of supervised release, and that was it. So apparently, they felt his information was enough to get a reduced sentence. And the feds, that's what they call black and white, proving if a person is an informant or not. And this what we can call, quote unquote, being a snitch, if you living by that. So let's continue with the story. Fast forward to the first week of April of 2026. Senior had a bond hearing for the federal pickup alongside his son and other 8 alleged CG members. Pooh Shiesty got one on the 8th. I'll keep you guys updated on that. But now at this point, people want to know. We got all that squared away. What about Gucci Mane? Now let's go over this criminal complaint in its entirety. I waited some time before dropping in the morning to see if the feds would actually drop the indictment. Now, I'm sure Pooh Shiesty didn't ever know his father was a federal informant, which is crazy because hours before the robbery with Gucci Mane, he allegedly went to Instagram and talked about his paperwork spoke on standing on business on not being an informant, which would make sense on someone.
Nigga probably don't even know his dad a rat. This shit crazy. He might know though. He might know his dad is a rat, but that's his dad. So it's like, that's my dad. But damn, nigga. Your bitch ass daddy.
Spoke on standing on business on not being an informant, which would make sense. Some would say that's why he was allowed by his dad to do that to someone help his son become a millionaire, despite how we feel about his contract.
It was an indictment, so we got indicted twice, nigga, so they smacked us with more charges, nigga, thinking that shit would break us or make us, nigga, conspiracy to possess firearms and further the drug trafficking, violent crimes, nigga. 3 other solid niggas you will ever see, nigga, name on a piece of paperwork, nigga. Bankroll, D-roll, nigga. These niggas solid, nigga. These niggas solid, nigga. We kept it G. We traumatized about this shit, my nigga. For real, nigga, I really went through it. Nigga, you nigga better watch our mouth when y'all say a nigga name, cuz I was facing 20 plus or 20 plus another 20 plus life, nigga. Never told it, never folded, nigga. All my shit add up, nigga. Yeah, nigga, every page add up. You see 1 through 10 on anything. Stop playing with a nigga name, nigga made, nigga, for real. You niggas don't know the half of this shit or what's really going on, nigga. Yeah, my paperwork 4,000 pages long. I go all day with this shit. You niggas don't know what really going on. You know what you see on the internet.
As of now, they haven't. Now, looking back at the situation that took place on January 10th, 2026, as mentioned, just weeks after FDO is charting #1 It seemed like before, Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane, even though they didn't come out publicly, wasn't on no odd terms. But you have damn near 2 feds in there. One was a federal informant in Pooh Shiesty dad, and Gucci Mane security, who's even an ex-officer or was an off-duty officer at the time of this incident. Now fam, with this complaint, we're not gonna paraphrase, we're gonna have to read in its entirety because it tells us who the eyewitness is. It also told us who the initial conversation, what happened. But I want to point out something. Now, according to these blogs, these people not only stole Gucci Mane one of his wedding rings or bands, one of Gucci Mane's watch, one of Gucci Mane pendants. The Gucci Mane went on Big Facts a couple months ago before Pooh Shiesty came home and was excited and talked about how he don't come out with at least an M on.
Listen, everything I buy be $1 million now.
Right.
The watch gonna be $1 million. The chain got to be $1 million. The rings got to be $1 million. If I would brought my other rings on here, y'all couldn't even see.
At least an M.
Yeah, I couldn't even see.
Second video. None of these pieces looks like Gucci Mane pieces. I found my stand correct. It was damn near 3 officers in there, at least 2 technically. They say at around 1 p.m. on January 10, 2026, the victims flew into Dallas, Texas alongside RD's head of security, hereinafter referred to as CW, and other security officers hereinafter referred to as TD, for a scheduled business meeting between RD and suspected Williams Jr., who we all now assume RD means Radric Davis, Gucci Mane, and Pooh Shiesty for Williams Jr. They say Pooh Shiesty wanted to talk to Gucci Mane or Radric Davis or RD about his contract and wished to be released. They said around 1:45, CW and TD, the 2 officers and the victims, arrived at the scheduled meeting location, a music recording studio located within a larger office building. When CW and TD and the victims entered the office building, they realized the recording studio, owned by an individual hereinafter referred to as JN, was closed. So when they got there, they realized the studio was closed, and they talked to JN, who confirmed it. While they waited for the studio to open, the 5 went to a liquor store and purchased liquor in plastic red Solo cups before returning to the studio. Williams Jr. father, Williams Sr., called JN multiple times on the day of the meeting, which was the owner of the studio. At around 2:53, JN answered the phone and learned that Williams Sr. was attempting to book the recording studio that afternoon for Williams Jr. and RD to record music. At or around 3:15 p.m., JN opened the music studio for RD, MM, BP, CW, and TD. So, according to Pooh Shiesty's dad, they went there to try to do music, assuming it could have went down outside the studio as well. Investigators later collected and reviewed surveillance video captured at another business located at the same office building on the same floor as the recording studio, which shows Williams Sr. outside the office building. At around 3:27 p.m. on January 10, 2026, it appears that he was speaking to someone on his cell phone before entering the building at 3:28. At around 3:39, an employee of the studio arrived to assist with production. When the employee arrived, Williams Jr. and Williams Sr. were standing at the back door of the office building, engaged in what appears to be an argument over the phone. At around 3:43, Williams Jr. and Sr., Wright, Johnson, Waiters, Roger, Gibson, Glover, and McDaniel entered the east side of the office building. The target suspects walked through the lobby area of the office building before going inside the studio. One individual with a dreadlock hairstyle, later identified as Gibson, can be seen on video exiting the building and shortly thereafter returning with a bag slung over his shoulder. Wright, also known as hip-hop artist Big 30. The 9 individuals entered the studio control room, where inside, victims were watching a football game. CW was positioned in the studio lobby, while TD remained in the vehicle they arrived in. Depicted below are photographs of the studio lobby. The police claim the victims overheard Williams Jr. talking on a cell phone, potentially with a probation officer, stating that his caseworker had given him permission to be out for rec time. So Pooh Shiesty knew. His probation officer already knew where he was at. From what
this nigga was out here doing this shit in the halfway house on rec time, he got a scheduled time limit out.
Victims could hear, Williams Jr. was informed that that wasn't the case.
Alright, Bumbleclad, shout out.
They needed to return immediately. Williams Jr. agreed. Williams Jr. was wearing an ankle monitor, leading the victims to believe that Williams Jr. was on house arrest. RD told Williams Jr. they could reschedule the studio session, but Williams Jr. requested to speak with RD privately in the attached recording room. RD agreed and entered the recording room with Williams Jr., Williams Sr., and Wright. Meantime, BP remained in the control room with the 6 other individuals and continued to watch the football game. BP offered to share the liquor they purchased with the targeted suspects, and at least 2 accepted, grabbing red cups and making a drink, assuming they all was cool and incoherent, fam. Inside the control room, Williams Jr. produced purported contract terminations or release papers from a bag and told RD to sign them. When RD declined, Williams Jr. became agitated, and the pair started to argue.
Nigga, up the bass hill. He told Gucci, yo, take me off this shit, man.
So it wasn't a robbery out the gate. and BP could see inside the recording studio initially believed RD and Williams to be discussing business. But as saw the conversation intensify, he texted CW, who was still in the music studio's lobby. As the argument inside the recording room ensued, Williams Jr. instructed Wright to get the bag. Wright complied, leaving the
30, pass me that drink!
recording room before returning with the bag, which is Big 30. Williams Jr. then pulled what appeared to be a black AK-style pistol from the bag and pointed it at RD, demanding again that RD sign the contractual release.
Sign the fucking papers!
Signed the paperwork for Williams Jr., while Williams Sr. and Wright stood by RD. RD couldn't leave the room. But here's how police got that evidence. They claim Big 30 pulled out a cell phone and recorded RD signing the paperwork while being forced to say that he released Pooh Shiesty from their company. Williams Jr. took RD wedding ring, watch, earrings, and cash. According
nigga said, upped it on him, so yeah, nigga. Yeah.
Forced to say that he released Pooh Shiesty from their contract. After the release was signed, Williams Jr. took RD wedding ring, watch, earrings, and cash. According to that,
you get that, nigga.
After RD signed the contractual release paperwork, Williams Jr. provided the paperwork to Williams Sr. and asked if the paperwork was good. Williams Sr. advised that the paperwork needed to be dated, so Williams Jr. then forced RD to add the date next to his name. As RD, Williams Jr., Williams Sr., and Wright exited the recording studio, the remaining subjects, Waters, Rogers, Johnson, Glover, McDaniel, and Gibson, produced handguns or AK-style pistols and began demanding property from BP and BP was pushed into the couch in the control room, while the individual known as BP as CMO Dan Fu, and part of Williams Jr. and crew, later identified as Roger, searched his pockets and stole his wallet. BP's chain and necklace, bearing the moniker 1017, were stolen from the neck, and another subject he knew as Glizzy 375, later identified as McDaniel during a robbery. McDaniel repeatedly threatened to shoot BP for moving, but Williams Jr. instructed McDaniel not to. BP further identified an individual he knew as Baby Slime 375, later identified as Johnson, as being involved in the kidnapping and robbery, and that during the control room robberies, Johnson possessed a firearm and held BP and others at gunpoint. Both and BP identified an individual they knew as KD, later identified as Waters, also being involved in the kidnapping and robbery, possessing a firearm and holding them at gunpoint. and BP identified them. Was choked from behind to the point of nearly losing consciousness during the kidnapping and robbery, resulting in scratches on his neck and wrist below. was robbed from his Rolex watch, a Louis Vuitton bag containing multiple other high-dollar watches, Apple AirPod headphones, and his wallet at gunpoint. confirmed the Louis Vuitton bag, AirPods, and wallet each had Apple AirTags on them, a location tracking device. As the altercation inside the control room, Wright walked over to the studio door to the lobby, closed it, and blocked it with his body, preventing the victims from leaving. CW and TD, the victim's security guard, watched Wright barricade the door and attempt to force their way into the control room, but were prevented from entering. With handguns drawn by CW and TD, managed to particularly open the door, but recognized that they were outnumbered. They said RD was pushed into the couch in the control room, causing the victims to believe they were going to be executed. Williams Jr. placed the barrel of the firearm to the back of BP's head and ordered him and RD to leave the control room and the studio through the west entrance of the office building. RD then instructed CW and TD to escort them to their vehicle. As the victims left,
These
MM
niggas
turned
went
to
crazy.
Williams Jr. and asked them if they were really taking his watches. Based on later recovered surveillance footage, the targeted suspects left the studio and the office building through the east entrance at around 4:48 p.m. Exterior surveillance video recovered from a neighborhood building showed a white Buick Enclave and a black Dodge Charger Hellcat and a black Dodge Ram within distant road affixed to the bed of the truck traveling northbound shortly after the kidnapping and robbery. According to law enforcement database, Wright's father, also known as Rodney Wright, owns a 2020 Dodge Charger Hellcat bearing Tennessee license plates, which was shown on camera at around 2:18 in Dallas-Fort Worth. So it's clear as day. The information that was given thus far was from the officers who was with Gucci, who saw everything from outside the room. I'm a parent because it was glass doors or glass windows or glass walls, but couldn't get in because guns was drawn on them. Now apparently Big 30 and the homies he was staying with stayed at a Comfort Inn. They end up stealing a black Dodge Charger Hellcat from that Comfort Inn on January 11, 2026. In return, they got all their surveillance footage in and outside that hotel. And that's what you see. They ain't come in at. They know about the alleged robbery.
That's why it's like so damn near like impossible to do crime now, bro. So much cameras and shit. Like them niggas that get the footage of you before, after, when you take your mask off, going back in your hotel room or going somewhere. They'll just, like, even if you had a mask on, you did this shit, they'll catch you later on with that same outfit, no mask on. Cause all they gonna do is run the cameras and follow you every fucking footstep. Shit nasty.
What the police saying they saw, and on Big 30 recording. But when it came to identifying the target suspects, they say MMBP and RD all personally knew Williams Jr. by both his legal name and the name under in which he performs Pooh Shiesty. Tag this Instagram account. They say JR, MM, and RD describe Williams Jr. as wearing a black Nike brand Shiesty mask, black hooded shirt, and black pants during the offense. An online search of Williams Jr. matched the individual depicted throughout Pooh Shiesty. Here's that photo. They identified Pooh Shiesty during the offense. The victims identified senior Instagram account Mob Tabs Global. MMBP and RD all identify Wright as a well-known hip-hop artist known as Big 30. MM and RD identify his Instagram account as CEO Big 30.
Roger Davis
by Instagram.
identified.
BP identified KD. BP identified Dan Fool. MM identified Glover, who had this Rolex and this 1017 chain. By the way, Rogers was just arrested. He was the one with this Rolex. BP identified Baby Slime. I'm saying you knew Pooh Shiesty and Big 30 after it was forced to contract. We can all just assume that was Roger Davis. That's one thing. But telling the police they robbed you is another. Because police told us at the very end, on page 30 of 32 pages, on who identified Lontrell Williams Jr. And when they were speaking on him, they spoke on RD. And
because it was earrings too. Damn, yo, Gucci really told nigga, you identified the nigga, you was a fucking rat.
Third person.
Gucci could have said, I don't know who it was. They had masks on, cause it said he had a Nike mask on. You feel what I'm saying? Gucci could have said, I don't know who it was. He had a mask on. It would have held up because it's him getting robbed by Pooh Shiesty. If he identified him and Big 30 and they had masks on, that nigga is a cold rat. Ooh-wee, Atlanta. They going out bad this year.
Said eyewitness accounts state that Williams Jr. brought RD into a recording studio and demanded that RD sign the release contract at gunpoint before taking RD's wedding ring, watch, earrings, and cash. Eyewitness accounts also placed Williams Jr. in the room when the additional kidnappings and robberies of MM and BP occurred. Cell phone records, electronic locations, monitoring, and surveillance footage placed Williams Jr. at the offense location. Electronic location monitoring data also places Williams Jr. at a Staples location with his father, believed to be printing the termination contract prior to arriving at the offense location. Eyewitness accounts and state when it came to Senior, they saw him in the studio when the offenses occurred. Williams Sr. Sr. assisted Williams Jr. in producer RD's signature on the purported contract release. Surveillance footage from the day of the office shows Williams Sr. entering the building, unmasked, and later exiting the building carrying a backpack which he believed he did not enter. Surveillance footage and eyewitness accounts place Williams Sr. at the offense location following the offense wearing similar clothing to what the suspects in the kidnapping appeared to be wearing. No other.
See what I'm saying? That's all. It's like you really gotta plan shit out thoroughly. You get in that car, even when you jump out the car, like, I mean, you gotta get up the car somewhere where there's no camera, change your clothes in the car, pop back out on camera, a whole different fit than what you had on, but you gotta get off camera. Like, it's cameras everywhere, my nigga. You can't, bro. If you outside still breaking the law, bro, you fucking dumb. You dumb, nigga.
Information about the jury type, the video released, or exactly what was took from Gucci Mane. Only what the feds could recover. Guess y'all take that from there. Since then, Big 30 attorney has spoken and said the following.
He's been making music for a number of years. He and Pooh Shiesty kind of came up in the music game together, and they were sort of like, they're very close, and they made, you know, some magical music.
On Wednesday, FBI agents raided Williams Cordova home. His father, of the same name, is also a suspect. Investigators tracked the group using cell data, surveillance, rental records, and bus tickets. 8 of the 9 suspects have now been arrested in a case that has racked up lots of attention.
I just hope that people will wait to pass judgment on Rodney and these other individuals.
Son of a snitch. Pooh Shiesty, son of a snitch.
Until all the facts come out.
And if convicted, all 9 defendants could face life in prison. There is a scheduled detention hearing for Wright, or Big 30, tomorrow at 2 p.m. before his case is moved to Texas. In the studio, I'm Lauren Turman.
He doesn't have a criminal history, doesn't have a criminal record. He's been making music for a number of years. He and Pooh Shiesty kind of came up in the music game together, and they were sort of like, they're very close, and they made, you know, some magical music.
On Wednesday, FBI agents raided Williams Cordova home. His father, of the same name, is also a suspect. Investigators tracked the group using cell data, surveillance, rental records, and bus tickets. 8 of the 9 suspects have now been arrested.
Yeah, Gucci Mane told, man. Gucci Mane snitched, man. He did bad.
In a case that has racked up lots of attention.
I just hope that people will wait to pass judgment on Rodney and these other individuals until all the facts come out.
And if convicted, all 9 defendants could face life in prison. There is a scheduled detention hearing for Wright, or Big 30, tomorrow at 2 p.m. before his case is moved to Texas. In the studio, I'm Lauren Turman.
He doesn't have a criminal history, doesn't have a criminal record.
What the fuck they keep playing the same shit over?
When it comes out, that's when we can find the fast food still at a time, like also right. Pooh Shiesty had managed to come home on a $250,000 bond on house arrest, only allowed to leave the home to go to court. As far as everyone else, seems like they behind bars. And Shiesty gonna have to pay for his attorney, his dad's attorney, his co-defendant's attorney. Look out for his family. All while his music still going to the man he allegedly robbed. Fam, I know that was a lot, but I wanted to give you guys full context so y'all can feel how you feel about it, but get how I feel. I want you guys to be.
That's why I fuck with the family though, cause I ain't know half of this shit. But I didn't know Gucci told, and this proved it. This proved it that nigga's a rat. Yeah, that shit proved it. He did bad.